The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 has finally made its debut, and it's been more than 2 months while using this device. It's stirring up quite the conversation. On one hand, it's an absolute engineering marvel that turns heads wherever you take it. Seriously, every time I whip this thing out, people can't help but do a double take. But on the flip side, some are feeling like it's a bit of a rehash of last year's model. With that hefty price tag, many were hoping for something that would really knock their socks off. So, let's break it all down and see if this phone is really worth the investment. To truly appreciate the Z Fold 6, you need to look at it differently than you would, say, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Samsung's foldable lineup has always been about those small yet meaningful tweaks that build up over time. This latest version sticks to that philosophy. If you're a spec geek who lives for every little detail, you might feel a bit underwhelmed by the modest upgrades. But in the real world, those tiny adjustments, like weight, dimensions, and screen ratios, make a massive difference when you're actually using the phone daily. Carrying this beauty around. Honestly, I was shocked at how much lighter and more manageable it felt compared to my iPhone 16 Pro Max, even when it's in a case. It's a total game changer. The weight distribution feels spot on, making it feel less like a brick and more like a sleek piece of tech you want to show off. And that cover screen? Now at 6.3 inches with a smooth 120Hz refresh rate, it's super easy to swipe and type with just one hand. Sure, you might find yourself juggling it here and there, but hey, that's part of the fun. Cradle the closed phone in one hand while navigating with the other, definitely a solid strategy. Now let's dive into the screens, because this is where the Z Fold 6 really shines. The 7.6-inch main display, absolutely stellar for everything, gaming, binge-watching shows, you name it. It's incredibly thin and lightweight, which means you can hold it for hours without feeling like your arm is going to fall off. And let's talk about that crease. It's still there, and I totally get why it bugs some folks. But honestly, once you start watching something colorful or action-packed, it tends to fade into the background. You barely even notice it. On the durability front, Samsung has really raised the bar this time around. With materials like armor aluminum, an improved hinge design, and an IP68 dust and water resistance rating, it feels way sturdier than previous models. Plus, the inner screen is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass Victus 2, which adds an extra layer of resilience. While the crease may still be present, it's less of an eyesore than before, which really enhances the overall user experience. Now let's dive into the camera situation, which is a bit of a mixed bag. The camera setup is pretty much identical to what you'll find on the Z Fold 5. You've got a 50-megapixel main camera, a 10-megapixel telephoto for 3x optical zoom, and a 12-megapixel wide angle. For casual photography, it gets the job done, but if you're a serious mobile photographer, you might find yourself feeling a bit let down. The camera captures vibrant, colorful images, perfect for those sunny days and social media snaps. However, let's keep it real. When you zoom in or try to shoot in low-light conditions, the quality can take a nosedive. The wide-angle shots can be particularly disappointing in less than ideal lighting situations. And that 4-megapixel under-display selfie camera? Let's just say it won't win any awards for quality. Sure, there's some AI sprinkled into the camera app, and while it's fun for quick edits, it doesn't break any new ground. You can remove simple shapes from photos, but anything more complex often ends up looking smudged or just weird. For most casual users, the camera is perfectly adequate. It'll take decent shots for Instagram. Plus, editing photos on that big screen is a total joy. You can easily isolate subjects and see how different edits affect the overall image. If you're just a casual Instagrammer, you're going to love this setup. However, if you're looking for a versatile camera that can deliver top-notch quality across various scenarios, you might want to keep shopping around. Now, let's address the elephant in the room: battery life. The Z Fold 6 comes equipped with a 4400 mAh battery, which is the same capacity as its predecessor, the Z Fold 5. Unfortunately, I found its performance to be somewhat disappointing. More often than not, I find myself glancing down at my phone and thinking, where did all the battery life go? It's shaping up to be a one-day phone, which can be pretty frustrating for those of us who use our phones heavily. I've noticed that during power-hungry tasks, like video calls or gaming, the battery drains alarmingly fast. For instance, a 1-hour video call can easily eat up about 18% of the battery, while 30 minutes of gaming in Asphalt Legends takes around 11%. On the plus side, a 30-minute YouTube binge drains only about 4%, which is pretty solid. But overall, it feels like the phone isn't as efficient as it should be when it comes to power management. After about 2.5 hours of general usage, I usually find myself hovering around 50% battery life. If you're not gaming or doing anything too intense, you might scrape by with a full day of use, but for power users, that can be a serious concern. So, where does that leave us with the Galaxy Z Fold 6? Overall, I'd say this is a fairly positive review. It's a fantastic folding smartphone that's incredibly easy to live with. But let's be real. It doesn't feel like a massive upgrade from the Z Fold 5, and with a starting price of around $1,900, that's a tough pill to swallow. You're right to expect more than just 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage for that kind of cash. People want faster charging, better camera capabilities, and maybe even a stylus thrown in for good measure. What the Z Fold 6 truly excels at is showcasing that amazing folding technology and the convenience of having a dual-purpose device. It's delightful, refined, and totally capable. As long as you understand what it is and what it isn't, you're unlikely to be disappointed. In my opinion, the Z Fold 6 functions more like a folding Galaxy S24 Plus than a direct competitor to the S24 Ultra. It's not trying to compete on the same level, nor is it trying to revive the old Galaxy Note series. It's more of a productivity-focused device that shines in design and engineering. If you're on the hunt for your first foldable phone, you're likely to fall head over heels for this one. But if you're already rocking a recent Z Fold, you might want to sit tight and hold off on upgrading, at least for now. If you've already snagged one, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Alright, as we wrap things up, let's just say the Z Fold 6 is definitely a conversation starter. Whether you're using it for work, gaming, or just scrolling through TikTok, it's got that wow factor. But remember, it's not the end-all be-all of smartphones. If you go into it knowing what you're getting, an impressive foldable that's more about style and innovation than raw power, you're going to have a great time. And for those of you who are first-time foldable users, get ready for a fantastic ride. The tech has really matured, and you won't have to worry about the early adoption quirks that used to plague foldable phones. If you're curious about trying something new, the Z Fold 6 is an excellent gateway into the world of foldables. So, what are you waiting for? If you're ready to jump into the foldable game, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. And don't forget to share your experiences. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep those phones folded and those adventures going.